This is one of my favorite luxury, tiny, small guy SUVs. Now, depending on who you ask, this is the Land Rover Range Rover Evoque. Some people just call it the Range Rover Evoque. Whatever you call it, it's long on name, short on stature, and big on style. Still relatively new to the world, the Evoque came out to society for model year 2012. This, smallest of the Range Rover line, was an instant head-turner. It used so much of the concept car's elements that I think it left a lot of people quite agog. These tiny little tail lights, this sort of wedge-shaped roofline, very simple, elegant profile, and these tiny little squinty headlights. This really does forego most of the shapes that you see on SUVs, be it the sort of more upright, boxy, or that kind of fastback. And honestly, I think even now, still in its second generation, this thing is a rolling wow factor. As far as this refresh on that second generation goes, it's gotten some minor work done on the front fascia, a nip or tuck to the grille and headlights, but beyond that, it's aging quite beautifully. It was the second Range Rover in the lineup to receive the flush door handles, which only add to its concept look. There's only one engine option on the Evoque, and that is a 246 horsepower, 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. You know, it's not like lightning fast, demonstrably quick. However, I mean, it does have a little bit of like a giddy up acceleration to it, which is quite nice. 0 to 60 in 7 seconds, top speed of 143 miles an hour. It's also mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission that actually, to me, is doing a really nice job making it feel a lot more powerful and zippy than it is. So there is some fun to be had here for sure. I actually quite like the way that this thing handles. It's small, gets a short wheelbase, has a really nice turning radius. It takes corners well, and with a little boost of acceleration, explodes out of those turns quite decently. I do feel a bit of body roll as I go around turns, which is expected. It does drive like it feels a teeny bit top heavy. The steering is nice and quick, and the brakes adequately stop this tiny little nugget. As far as the ride quality goes, it is suitably Range Rover. In comfort mode, it's very, very comfortable. You feel like a plush ride. It really does eat up imperfections in the road. It sort of smooths those out quite nicely. I have the dynamic driving package in this, and that gives the Evoque adaptive dampers. If I put it into dynamic mode, what that does is it changes throttle mapping, it changes the feel of the dampers, so everything firms up a little bit. And of course, as soon as I get a green light, we will actually get to test and see if there is a little bit of a difference. Otherwise, visibility in here is pretty good. I mean, I'm looking over my right shoulder and I can really see everything. Left is not as great, but that's kind of to be expected. And when it comes to the sort of peacefulness in the cabin, it does its best to kind of emulate that sort of peaceful Range Rover-esque environment. Can you tell that I'm kind of killing time until such time as when I get a green light here and I can go? We are now in dynamic mode. Definitely things are a little zippier. I'm using these paddle shifters to help me shift. Yeah, I feel like the suspension is firmed up a little bit, and it's definitely got a very sporty vibe. So, well done. It won't best competitors like the Mercedes-Benz GLA or BMW X1 or X2 would when it comes to spirited driving, but I'm not sure an Evoque buyer is necessarily looking for a driver's car. Other competitors to the Evoque include the Volvo XC40, Lexus UX and NX, and the Audi Q3. Gas mileage numbers are not quite as spectacular as this new Corinthian bronze paint color that is on the outside of this. This and Tribeca Blue are two of the new colors that you can get on the Evoque. You're going to get 20 miles in the city, 28 on the highway. If you are shopping for a luxury or premium SUV, probably gas mileage numbers are not the first thing that come to mind, and they're pretty similar to the competitors. Yes, it looks small on the outside, but How does the inside feel by comparison?
In the front seat, honestly, I feel like there's quite a bit of room in here considering the small petiteness of this vehicle. Everything is adjusted electronically, steering wheel, seats. The seats are really comfortable too, by the way. Nice, lots of headroom. But it's when you kind of get into the back where things get a little squirrely. Even for me, you know me, 5'4", I'm a little short on all the things. I am fine, of course, but you put somebody who's a little bit bigger in here, like a Mike Danger or a Jeff Glucker or like a normal person, and I think you're gonna have a little bit of issue. So not a ton of headroom, especially when it comes to this middle seat. And then you can see, like, this is a normal human's or a tall human's seating position. I can't even fit back here, and normally I can. So, yeah. Take the information as you will. The nice thing about this is I get heated rear seats back here. That's awesome. So they're taking care of you with this dual zone climate control, but this might not make a whole lot of friends.
You can get upholstery and sustainable cloth fabrics that are every bit as gorgeous and luxurious as leather, but you get leather too, which is actually standard on the doors, seats, and dash. Cargo space is okay for something in this subcompact category. Just know that all 4 of your passengers aren't bringing along their steamer trunks on your road trip. When it comes to tech, I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with Land Rover over my years of reviewing them. The new Pivi Pro system on the 11.4-inch standard touchscreen is much quicker and less layered and complex than the previous system. You can customize, which is nice, but the lack of physical buttons to me is a little bit disappointing. You do have these touch buttons on the steering wheel. They look like those haptic situations on the Mercedes steering wheel. They are not. They actually do have a touch and feel, so you can't just sort of swipe over them. But the fact that this scroll bar is the only way to raise and lower the volume leaves me a little bit wanting. You do, of course, have the option of wireless Apple CarPlay, Amazon Alexa, and Android Auto to connect your smartphone. You get a digital gauge cluster that looks great and is, again, highly customizable, and wireless charging. Luxury amenities like heated memory seats, steering wheel, dual zone climate controls, a lovely panoramic sunroof, and an electronically adjustable steering wheel.
There are only 2 trims available now. The S, which starts at $51,075, the SE, which starts at $56,075, and all of those features are available as standard on both.
On the Dynamic SE, you'll additionally get 19-inch wheels, exterior trimmings, metal pedals, but not anything by way of performance unless you add that dynamic package, which you can do with the base model as well. So I think the sweet spot here is the S trim. Some of the options that you can put on with packages include a 360 surround camera system, head-up display, and a cold weather package that gets you a heated windshield, washer jets, and heated rear seats.
So because this is a Land Rover, yes, it is 100% capable of going off-road. Whether you actually take it there or not, they are very adamant that all of their products can actually do what they say they can and should do. So there is a terrain response mode here that you can set to auto. You have different off-road modes as well. These vehicles are 100% very, very capable. This has a wade depth of over 20 inches, so you can actually take it fording some water. If you're buying the Evoque, it's unlikely that you are going to be the person who's sort of taking this off-road. If you're a hardcore person, I would say, yeah, I would look more at the Defender for sure. But if you're in a pickle and you need to take this on some dirt, you know that you can.
When it comes to driver's aids, the Range Rover Evoque comes chock full of them, and they all come standard. They're not intrusive and keep you safe while you're driving in luxury.
I'm not going to say the name of this car manufacturer because this voice response system will go bonkers. But if you own an older one of these vehicles made by this company and you need to get it fixed, it needs a little bit of TLC, click on the link above and Kelley Blue Book Service Advisor can help you figure out what you should be paying for repairs.
It did once come as a convertible, but I, for one, am really glad that that is no longer an option. We can't win them all now, can we?
But in every other way, the Land Rover Range Rover Evoque, or just Range Rover Evoque, however you say it, it still wows. It has upgraded tech. You can definitely have a bit of fun while you're driving this, and it absolutely looks spectacular. This thing has aged very well, which, as everybody is getting older, gosh, that's something we all really want to be able to say.